Welcome to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians. I am your one and only host, Lewis, with my assistants, Amanda and Katie. Simona has been dethroned again. Joe is on vacation.
Just like to clarify, Simona's also on vacation, so that's why she's not here.
No, Simona has been forcibly removed.
No, she hasn't.
As host of the Caffeinated Librarians. Today, this could probably go into our classics pick. I thought the classics already aired, though, right?
Yeah, they did.
Except for Joe's. Joe's
except
at this
for,
point has not.
No, Joe's
the musical.
Aired?
The musical that
the musical has
his musical pick.
Oh yes.
aired.
By this time, yes. Joe's.
Yeah, his classic one was His Girl Friday.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
That's right. Sorry.
But today, we're talking about probably one of the more iconic movies from the days of yore. Katie,
Yes.
would you like to talk about the movie more?
Sure. So we all watched Some Like It Hot, and it's my favorite.
Can I just say, I do prefer it hot. I like when it's really hot outside.
I'm a salamander.
But I like it cool inside. So like if I don't want to be hot inside.
Relief. You want to be able to go inside and get relief.
But I also want to be, when it's outside, like I want it scorching. I want to be hot.
I'd rather be hot than cold.
Me too, but
I'm
not
the
inside.
opposite.
Not inside.
Not inside, yeah, no, because then I'm working inside. And that's
Yeah, and that's uncomfortable. I don't want to sleep in the heat unless I'm outside. Like I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Like sleeping on the beach. I'll also end up looking like a tomato by the end of it, but
Because
I
you
can't
didn't
sleep on beaches.
put sunscreen on or reapply sunscreen.
probably. Yeah.
He'd have to wake up. He'd have to set an alarm like every 30 minutes just to
Yeah.
reapply
Yeah.
sunscreen. That's what I have to do.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Sucks being ginger. No, never.
And you follow the characters Joe and Jerry, played by Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, who are amazing. And Marilyn Monroe is part of this all-women band. They go on tour.
Reluctantly part of it.
Reluctantly. Anyway, and Joe and Jerry, they end up witnessing the St. Valentine's Day massacre in Chicago in 1929. So prohibition's going on. Gangsters are on the run. And in order to escape Spats, who wears spats, who's the gangster, they disguise themselves as women. And they go by the names of Josephine. And Jerry was going to go with Geraldine, but then he went for Daphne, just off the cuff.
It's what he felt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And they
like
join this all-female band, and that's where they meet Marilyn Monroe. And, of course, that's when chaos ensues because they're both men in an all-women's band. And Joe, Tony Curtis's character, is attracted to her. I don't want to say falls in love or even like infatuated. He's definitely attracted to her.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
think
he
they're
basically
both kind of attracted to her in the beginning.
yeah.
But then like
Daphne, I think, is just or
I
Jerry.
love Daphne. I love Daphne so much.
It's just really like
Really
just more into it.
Yeah.
But like
that's the kind of friends you want,
Yeah.
right? They're the one who's like really into.
Yeah. Joe is into her looks.
Yeah.
And I mean, basically, not basically, does lie to get her to hook up with him.
Yes.
So not the most chivalrous,
No.
but comedic for sure.
Oh, they're hysterical.
Yeah.
I love Jack Lemmon just in everything he does because he can play dramatic roles and he can play comedies and he's so good in anything he does. But I think my favorite part of this entire movie is the fact that Jerry, Daphne, has a suitor when they're down in Florida.
Makes my face so creepy in the beginning.
Osmond.
Osgood Fielding the third.
Osgood Fielding the third.
That's a rich name right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
He's number 3.
Zowie is his catchphrase. And I think it's interesting because you get Well, you get like I think an over the top like screwball,
Satirization.
Thank you, satire of what it is to be a woman in like a man's dominating world, especially in 1920s America. But what did you guys think of this movie? Also, the ending is fabulous, especially for 1959. So.
I actually really enjoyed this one.
Yay!
I thought I was kind of going into it because after we did like some Marilyn Monroe stuff, I was like, oh no. But I was able to like push that back a little bit just to try to enjoy the movie. I also went into this, I'm like, oh no, the way they're treating women. I was like, here we go, another watch you can't watch in the modern time. But then, surprisingly, as the movie progressed, I realized this is actually pretty progressive.
Yeah.
For the time period. I mean, at the end, I was like, oh, no, he's trying really hard to tell him that he's a guy. I'm like, just say it.
Yeah.
And he was just like, nobody's perfect. And he's
know.
still going to marry him. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's adorable.
I know.
I was like...
The part that I kind of thought was going to be a little cringy, but then they saved it with that, was when Joe is telling Jerry, like, you can't be engaged. Guys don't marry guys. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little,
Yeah.
But then at the end, when that happens, I'm like, oh, okay, they're basically saying, like, hey, it happens.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
His mother's excited. I think my favorite part of the scene out of the movie was actually the tango
Yeah.
scene. That one made me laugh really hard, is when they're like going down
Jerry
and everyone else
was
is
into
just dancing around.
Daphne,
and then he's like, you're leading
again."
again. He's like, sorry, darling. It just keeps going.
And then when he gets back, he's all overjoyed and he's playing the maracas while on the bed and telling Josephine that he's engaged.
Oh, you're right. That would be terrible. He wants to go to the Riviera, but I'm more of a Niagara Falls kind of guy. I'm just like, yes! Yes! He got so into it, and I was so happy. Even went into the bathing suit. I was like, oh, your shoulders are so strong. And then he touches her leg.
Yeah.
His leg, sorry. And it's just like, wow, I like a girl. What's And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So like he ended up marrying a millionaire versus, Sugarcane, who knows what's gonna happen afterwards.
What I enjoyed about this movie though too is that the main actors, like the main actors in this movie wasn't Marilyn Monroe, it was Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis.
They definitely made the movie and they were definitely the stars.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like Marilyn Monroe kind of like, I liked Marilyn's character, but she seems kind of like, I guess her typecast is that like the
ditzy
dumb
blonde.
ditzy falls for all the guys and tries really hard not to go for them, but ends up falling in love with the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were definitely the draw, the two of them. But I tell you, she probably stole every scene that she was in.
Yeah.
Like, she was just magnetic.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably the first, like, actual movie I've seen her in.
I've
Really?
never seen a Marilyn Monroe film. This is my first one.
Yeah.
What I think I enjoyed
I've
watching.
seen bits and pieces of other things.
Yeah. But what I think I enjoy watching with this movie is watching how the different how Daphne and Josephine / Shell Jr.
Shell oil?
interacted with her as
How
characters.
stupid was that? He's like, I collect shells. Perhaps that's why they named the company Shell.
Shell oil. I love his like, scram, go to your mom.
What was that accent he was trying to do? I was like,
Very lame British accent.
yeah, it was like, that's
It was a very weird accent he was trying to do. He sounded like a guy who literally did have, like, some kind of, like, awkward problem.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, Daphne definitely calls him out on it and says, "And what type of accent is that? Nobody talks like that."
I think the worst person in this movie was definitely the conductor lady.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, she was annoying. She was like,
Sweet
I
Sue.
won't have anything. And then she called, what's his name? Green beans? Split beans? What's his name?
Beanstalk.
Beanstalk. And he's not doing anything.
No.
Like, why are you even here? He's like, pretty girl.
Poor guy lost his luggage.
Yeah.
To be fair, he didn't
Lost.
lose his luggage.
Lost his
Can't do
luggage.
anything. Yeah.
How Joe fit into any of his clothes
I don't
was
know.
beyond me.
I would. Yeah, they were definitely two very different sizes.
Yeah, I'm like, he's a very tiny man.
Yeah.
So I also very much enjoyed it. I was into it. I thought it was very funny. I loved the part at the beginning when when the speakeasy is about to get busted,
Oh yeah.
and the two of them are talking to each other, and they're like, "Oh, it could be worse. The stock market could crash or something like that. And then it's gonna happen in the next year,
Yeah.
and stuff like that."
Foreshadow.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff was funny. And first off, let's talk about that cop.
Oh.
The one that pulled his badge out and was stuffing his cigar.
Yeah, absolutely no jurisdiction down in Florida. Like, why he went down there is beyond me.
Undercover. He's undercover. He could have been a detective too.
I think he was a detective. He
Still has no jurisdiction down there. But and then he just
this crosses borders, international.
After the guys are all shot in that room.
Oh, Spats and the guys.
He just walks in casually. He's like, "So what's going on here? A murder just happened. Do something."
What happened?
I mean, a murder of pretty awful human beings.
A murder is still a murder, and obviously those human beings were worse.
Yeah.
Over here with his high morals, murder is murder. No murder is
Semantic
justified.
Semantic slew.
Yeah.
Semantics.
Yes.
All interpretations.
I just loved how he walked in all casually. And did they need the guy to jump out of the cake? That was a nice touch.
He's like, "Hey, save the cake. I want to send a piece to my kids." I'm like, "That's not even a real cake. There's no cake here."
But I think it's like it was supposed to be surprise, because if they're expecting
It's a surprise.
yeah. If they're expecting it, then they can duck and leave.
Yeah.
I love how Jerry and Joe are underneath the table when all this happens.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they are some lucky guys.
By the way, how great did it look to, like, the 20s just looked awesome. Like,
The
just
20s were a simple
alcohol everywhere,
Simple.
partying everywhere.
Mafia's everywhere.
Exactly, yeah.
Mafia men. Yeah.
The law is blurry,
Well, it's definitely skewed for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no.
What a great time to be alive.
Oh, and the bars look so fun. The
Yeah.
speakeasies.
Yeah.
Now it's legal.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's fun. Me and Brian have been to a couple, like, speakeasies in the city
Oh, yeah.
that are, like, really cool, where you have to look for them.
Yeah.
You have to look for the entrances.
That's amazing.
There's one that I highly recommend called Criff Dogs. Mm-hmm. It's inside Criff Dogs. It's called Don't Tell Anyone.
Nice.
And you don't know, and there's a phone booth, and you actually have to, like, call. But you have to actually make a reservation ahead of time because of how busy it
I
can
bet.
get. And it's very tiny. And they sell, like, gourmet hot dogs, but you get, like, the drinks are really good.
So I've been to two.
Oh, you've
Speakeasies.
been? I've never been to a speakeasy.
One was in the city, and it was like the same kind of thing. It was like in the basement of like some other place, and it was very nice. But like we wore suits and everything like that. Like we were on
dare
like
you.
that like old school vibe.
Yeah, like the
And-
pinstripe suits and.
Yeah, and they played hip hop all night.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I went up to the DJ and I was like, "Can you play like Sinatra or something,
Some
like
jazz.
just like
Jazz?
once,
Do you
just
like
one song?"
jazz?
And he was like, "I can't do that, man." I guess it was like a Saturday night, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right, whatever." The other one, the other speakeasy that I've been to was in Nashville. That was also like, that was a random. We just kind of like stumbled upon this place, and we were the only people in the bar. It was like a Tuesday night, and just amazing drinks. They made such cool drinks, and they played jazz, which was
Aw.
nice. Yeah.
The other speakeasy I went to was inside of a Five Guys.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was in the city. You go right into the Five Guys. You have to walk straight towards the back. You have to walk past the checkout counter, and you make a swipe. And there's like a secret stairway that you wouldn't notice from outside, and you go up, and you gotta go up there.
Nice.
Cool.
That was kind of cool, but it feels weird going towards the kitchen,
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
and then having to walk up the stairs. And then we found another one inside of a like a Japanese restaurant,
Nice.
but that one wasn't as like
so you've
hidden,
technically
but-
been to 3 then.
Yeah. There's so much fun. I follow like a bunch of social medias too that like they're like, "Oh, go here." And I'm like, "I want to go." I want to feel cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just cool vibes, and they usually look really nice. And unless you're there on a Saturday night, I guess they'll usually play, old time music. Which is
I've seen a
nice.
lot of them play like hip hop. The Criff Dogs ones has more like mellow tones, is what
Yeah.
I would say. That
Yeah.
one feels like a real
Yeah.
Yeah, because it actually was at one point. I think it's the history behind that was it was like a legit
an actual
Nice.
speakeasy. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I know Marilyn Monroe was quite the singer. I did not enjoy her first song. I just didn't like the melody as much. But the second song, I thought was a lot of the boop boopy doop. I know that one, the Betty Boop. But she wore like the same dress.
Yeah.
But in different shades.
Yes.
She had a black one from when she gets her heart broken by Joe, or Shell Oil.
Shell Oil.
And then her first one when she does the boop boop doop is like, more of a... It's black and white, so I don't know what actual color it is until they colorize.
I mean, it's probably a nude, like, flesh-toned dress that has sequins
she
on it.
was all on display there, though. I liked the dress. I thought it was very pretty. But it was like, we're going to cover up here, and then nothing. Yeah. And then it's like, we'll stop right there.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how, like, people said that she was very curvy during the time period. I've seen, like, a lot of pictures, and I guess a lot of them tend to be, like, photoshopped or something like that, where it looks like she has the skinnier waist.
Yeah.
But in this one, like, we saw her in the bathing suit and stuff like that. She was actually curvier.
Yeah.
And I never really saw that, so it was kind of refreshing to see, like, how people, like, how the beauty standard was very, like, in her favor. Mm-hmm. And so I liked that a lot. That was so nice.
Yeah.
Nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was a babe.
She was a little beauty mark.
Yeah.
Paving the way.
Yeah.
No, I thought she did it. Her hair is always the same. It
is.
Little curl.
Yeah.
I love this parts. I think the train scenes were also some of my favorite scenes.
There were too many people in that top bunk.
It was a party, Lou.
Honestly, even I know Daphne wanted to get the girls out of there for other reasons, but
also, how did the conductress not hear them?
Agreed. Her and Beanstalk were just like
Oblivious.
And there were cups. I saw a cup on the ground, like a smashed cup, and I'm like, if I was the conductress, I would have been like,
yeah.
There's a cup on the floor. What's going on?
Yeah.
Also, he just stole his friend's booze.
Yeah.
And that was great, and he just turned over. I would have woken up. I would have been like, excuse me.
Yeah.
What are you trying?
My bottle.
Yeah. This is my booze. I like that they put it in like the
hot water bottle.
Hot water bag.
Yeah, the hot water bottle.
So I was like, oh, that's a good way to hide it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's clever. And
They're
can't get away
making Manhattans.
with that
No, can't get away with that.
now. Can't get away with that.
Don't really need to though, either.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. Maybe you do, Lou.
Do you?
Where are
You
you
can
going?
just like openly drink on the train now and like.
Not without dirty looks.
Well, not if you're sitting in the dining car.
I mean, if you're on a big fancy train, yeah, but if you're in a train in New York City, you start drinking on the train, I'm gonna look at you kind of funny, be like,
Well, no, you do have to be. You gotta be a little.
I've heard of like pre-gaming, and I've done it, but I'm like, I usually go somewhere pre-game, and then I go somewhere else.
You never drank on the train?
No, I was not born and raised in New York, so a part of me doesn't feel right. Like, it's just, for some, I'm like, why would you do that? You're gonna choke. What if you choke on it? I also tend to choke on my drinks a lot.
Oh.
So if I'm on a train and I start coughing,
Well,
it's like random. It's like you'll like drink something and it'll be like, oh, time to choke, and it's like, oh no.
oh my god, that sounds horrible.
It's terrible.
You should not drink.
How dare you? First off. Second
Well,
of which,
Amanda,
how dare you?
Amanda, I should say that being born and raised in New York State, I've never, and gone to the city multiple times, I've never felt the need to drink on a train. So
That's good. Yeah, it's kind of a weird. The train's already kind of dirty. Why do I want to drink on the train?
Yeah.
Well, you're drinking from the bottle. I mean, you're not.
It would
like,
be a
pouring it
bag
on the
inside of a
ground.
bottle. I've never seen someone openly drink without
Well,
like
I
a
think-
bag hiding the bottle.
Yeah. and-
Oh, usually it's in a bag. Yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
and I
you're
don't
not-
like that look. That makes it's a weird look.
Yeah. Yeah. You're probably not sitting there with a bottle. Like.
Yeah, no. If I was gonna do that, I'd just take a water bottle and
Yeah.
like fill it up at that
You
point.
do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
preferably one that's not see through.
Yeah.
I don't need people questioning me.
Yeah.
It's tea.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. You don't know me. I did like that the speakeasy, they were drinking out of cups. Mm-hmm. That's fun. Have you guys ever drank out of a cup? Like alcohol with like a little coffee? That's so
Like
much
a
fun.
cup and saucer?
Yeah, I've been to a bar that did that where they put it in like the saucer.
No, I've
So much
never
fun.
done that before.
There's a place in the city I went to in the financial district called, I think, like Witch's Brew or something like that. And they do that. They have it like alcoholic tea, so they'll like give you a whole set, and it looks all magical and stuff. Oh God, it was
That's
great.
really cool. Did anyone else feel bad for the guy at the beginning of the movie who was standing there and accidentally spilled his coffee on Spatz's spats?
I want another drink.
I want another cup of coffee.
I want
I'm
another
surprised
cup
that
of
guy
coffee.
didn't get a few pops to the face, you know.
Yeah.
Well, did you see him after the raid on the place? He's still out there going, I just want another cup of coffee.
Getting dragged with everybody else.
He's still going. How long has he been out there?
That is alcoholism, folks.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Just wanting another cup of coffee.
Yeah, I love it too. So we don't have alcohol, sir, but we got coffee. We got Scotch coffee. We got another. Whatever, I forget what else he said.
Yeah, all of the coffee that has alcohol in it.
Yeah, sign me up. It's my kind of coffee place.
It's a very fancy coffee place.
Yeah.
The hotel that they end up staying at, or resort, or wherever they're
I think
staying.
it's a hotel.
Yeah, it's
What a nice
Florida.
place.
It looked kind of like, if you remember when we did the I did my pick for the oldies. I did the horror movie. Oh God.
Carnival of Souls.
Thank you. I'm drawing a blank. Carnival of Souls. It reminded me of that place because I know that one
yeah.
was more of a boardwalk, but like the structure of it for a while,
Yeah.
I was like, hold on,
Yeah.
for a moment. I'm like, it's not the place.
Yeah.
But I was like, at it for a moment, like,
Yeah.
But that's so pretty. I wonder if that place still is an actual place, and if we can
it
go.
could be.
I thought for a moment, because of the black and white nature of the film, that the hallways had sand in them. And I just realized it's just an ugly carpet. Because, like, at one point they had the door open, and I kept looking outside the door, and I was like, it looked lumpy, like sand. And I was just like, man, that's got to be, like, really kind of... Sorry. But,
It really made me want to go to the beach, though.
right?
That's like the bellhop.
The bellhop was shooting
flirting.
his shot.
Flirting
Yeah,
with Josephine.
Yeah, creepily shooting a shot, though. He just walks into the room.
He's a young boy. He's shooting his shot. That's the best you can do.
He's like, don't worry, you don't need to leave the door unlocked. I'll break in.
And he never did. Liar. He's too busy taking care of that blind guy the entire time. Did you see the scene with the elevator? And they just knock the guy out. And he's like, oh my God. I'm like, oh God. Oh God. So the scene on the boat,
Yeah.
Joe, dressed up as Shell Jr.,
Yeah.
tricks Marilyn into thinking that he has a yacht. And so they find the inside. I love that he's like, he has absolutely no idea what he's doing. He's like, hey, the great thing about this boat is all this space.
Yes.
And I'm like, look at all that closet space. I'd be excited. I'm excited to explore new places. So if anybody goes, look at the closet, I'd be like, wow. I'll get excited by a closet. So much space.
Also, I don't know that he needed to do what he was doing with the ploy. I mean, I think she was pretty much down already.
Well, Daphne put it in her head that they were going to meet like all these billionaires and hoping they would have billionaire sons, and so they felt that, the only way it was an Aladdin story. Yeah. Just it's Aladdin all over again.
But I don't know that
Except there's no genie.
I don't know that he
He
needs
is
to
the genie.
do the whole like oh, no woman has been able to, I guess, satisfy him. Was this whole thing, or rev his engine? You know what I mean?
Rev his
you know what I'm
engine.
saying?
Yeah.
They weren't able to float his boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We understand it.
I don't know that he needed to do all of that to get her to
Kiss him?
make out with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was
Already gung ho.
she was willing and down
able.
to,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
She just went right in for her. She was like, "Kiss me, you fool."
Yeah.
She did.
She did. I like that there was a whole dinner set up there, and he was just like, he was he holding like a piece of chicken,
he was
and she was trying to kiss him. He's like, nom nom. I'm like, same. Honestly, same. It's like.
He was like, "This is too good to waste."
Like, legit, it's a rich person's food. A rich person's yacht. I like that he didn't know how to drive a boat. And he was like, "Oh, it's only in reverse."
I just got this boat, so if you don't
And she's just like, "Oh, yeah, spread out already. Like, she's comfortable."
Yeah.
I'm like, she doesn't know any better. She's from Ohio.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ohio people, what do you know?
They're the worst. They really are.
Tell me, what do you know?
I love the gag about the fish, which is obviously a swordfish.
Yes.
That's mounted, but he's what does he call it? Like a sardine. It's part of like a sardine family, and Marilyn goes, "How do they get it all small into the tiny cans?"
They're big.
Like she said, not a lot of brains.
not. She played a dumb blonde character, a
Very
stereotypically
well.
dumb blonde tropey character.
Yeah.
Not saying blondes are dumb. They're not. Don't worry about it.
No, I know some very smart blondes.
I do too.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Yes.
You had to think
I
about
was
it.
trying to think of how many friends of mine are actually blonde, and I was just like,
Like real blondes.
yeah, like
Like not dyed hair,
Not
blondes.
dyed hair. Yeah.
most of my friends have like dark hairs.
We don't. There's only one blonde staff member, too.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We used to have two,
Oh,
but
is Jade's hair? No, she's a redhead.
she's a redhead.
That's right.
Well, Laura left.
Oh yeah, Laura was blonde.
She was also blonde.
Yeah.
I always thought you guys were related because of your last names.
No.
It
When I
really
first
confused me when I found out both your last names. And I was like,
when I first started working here, we tried to like figure. Actually, even in my interview, I think she asked. She was like, let's try to figure out if there's any relation. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then she was like, the only person, like, it obviously was her ex-husband's last name, so it wasn't really her.
oh,
And then because her maiden name is Bowman, and then so it was really, if I was related to anybody, it would have been her husband.
Yeah.
So she said that the only, uncle that they don't know about was an Uncle Buster. And so she asked if I had an Uncle Buster, and I was like, I don't think so. I'll ask. So
Sorry, my phone.
Wow, during recording. Simona's calling you during recording?
I had texted her about the virtual. If anyone had contacted her about.
wow,
virtual.
Simona.
Simona knows we record 2 to 3 on Thursdays. Simona, I'm really disappointed in you.
Katie, having your phone on.
But anyway, no, we.
My phone's is on silent at all times during the day.
Yeah.
That's something that carried over from my GameStop days.
Yeah.
Is that Brian was like, just keep it on silent or turn it off because then they'll call you in. And I'm like, you're
Yeah.
right. So I just keep it on silent, even though I always look at it.
Yeah. But no relation.
Oh, okay.
What's funny too about talking about just blondes in general. Marilyn Monroe was not a natural blonde. She was a redhead
Interesting.
Traitor.
and dyed her hair
Traitor.
blonde.
Interesting. They do say blondes have more fun.
Traitor!
I don't believe that for an instant.
No.
Yeah. It's true.
No, it's because of stereotyping. I think redheads have more fun.
Redheads have more fun? Is that what you said?
Because everybody wants to be a redhead. I have a friend who keeps dyeing her hair red. She's like, Amanda, I'm a redhead. And I'm like,
No, you're not.
yeah. And in my head, I'm like, no, you're not. No matter how hard you try. No, it's because we only make up like 3% of the world population. And,
Yeah.
we're harder to come by. And we're tons of fun.
Isn't red hair like a recessive gene?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Just like blue eyes.
Predominantly, I found a Swedish gene.
Oh.
So they went all the way back because people keep attributing it to like Ireland.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. And even the people in Ireland are like,
No.
no. We have like predominantly like dark hair.
Yeah.
Like black hair almost.
And brown hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're like, no.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They're always like, Irish people, red hair, right? No.
I didn't think that.
No.
No.
Yeah,
No. No.
No.
St. Patrick's Day didn't do it for you.
No. I do make fun of my Irish friend
Leprechauns?
a lot, though. I there are times where I'll get a thing of potatoes and just like leave them at his house.
Oh my God, that's
I
so
love potatoes.
mean.
I mean, ultimately, I'm giving him free food.
Yeah.
Like,
With the potato famine and
I always make jokes about the famine. You don't understand. You weren't part of the famine. Potato famine.
the subsequent like systematic starvation of an entire country. Yeah, that's good. Let's make fun of that.
Yeah,
Not like that. Not like that. Not like that. My dad for years was like, because both my parents are like, I'm Irish Scottish, so it was like, my dad was like, used to tell everyone when they saw me, he was like, yeah, she gets her red hair from me. And eventually I grew up and my mom had red hair. And when she had her children, like after me, my brother has red hair. And so no one on my dad's side has red hair. And so I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't lie to yourself. No. But I was like, I think one day I was like, nuh-uh. So.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't have any redheads in my family.
Yeah, I don't have any redheads in my family.
Your hair's not red?
No. My hair's brown.
Oh, yeah?
But
Yeah.
you can
It's
have
kinda
red
like an
tint. You
auburn.
can have red tint. A lot of blonde people tend to have red tint.
Doesn't she have like an auburn tone?
When I
Underneath on the bottom.
yeah, when I was younger, if I stayed out in the sun for long periods of time, my hair would turn strawberry blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a little.
I do. I have a little, just not an excessive amount.
Yeah.
Must be my Scandinavian
My
roots coming
stepfather
out.
is like blonde, but he has like red in his beard and
Red whiskers.
Yeah,
He's got
I get some red
whiskers.
hairs in my beard when
Yeah.
it gets long. Which I don't know where that came from. But,
You must have some Scandinavian roots then.
no. All
Are
Italian.
you sure? You sure about that?
I am. That I am.
Yeah, I think that's sus.
so sus. Join us on the next episode where we do DNA tests. Genealogy.
All Italian.
I need to do one of those.
Do you?
Well, my mom was adopted, and so was
Oh.
my grandfather on her side.
Interesting.
My grandfather, her father, was adopted. And so a part of us have always like wondered. She did a genealogy thing where it like told her like, you know,
Yeah.
genetically where things were coming from.
And what were her results?
She had coastal, I believe UK, where it was more
On the
Ireland
islands.
and Scotland and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And she had like a teeny. No, that's where it was. No, that was it. That was it.
That was it?
Yeah. I think so, if I'm not mistaken. But I keep trying to look at my dad's side because someone did a whole journey into like our family history, and I've been trying to get it,
Yeah.
and yet no one can give it to me.
Why?
Just been
Family drama?
Not drama. It's just every time I keep thinking it's like at one person's house, they're like, "Oh no, go talk to this person because they have it." I'm like, "Can I have it?" And they're like, "Sure," and they never give it to me. And I'm just like,
That's annoying.
I want to know if I'm royalty.
I don't.
Then again, it
think
doesn't
so.
mean much if like, and I think my dad was like, yeah, we were Scottish royalty. And like, that doesn't say much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. I mean, apparently my father's side, we're heavily, we have heavy roots in England, and apparently we're somehow related to like the Plantagenet line, and I don't know how.
Oh.
Which is
Gotta get in there.
yeah.
Yeah. So you should have been at the coronation.
No, because they're not Plantagenets. They're.
But you're royalty. I mean,
Gotta show your face.
Invite all
Katy
royalty.
Perry's not royalty. She showed up.
I don't. I think I need to show proof of that.
Also, it's such bull. Like let's be honest. Like, they have no power whatsoever. Like, it's all... And they're going through such an economic crisis over there right now that the fact that they spent however much they spent on that coronation day...
And it was actually shorter than all the other ones, too. They cut it.
It was shorter, and it was played down immensely.
Yeah. Insane. Yeah.
But Camilla got her time to shine.
She did.
She had her own song that she wrote.
Who's Camilla?
Camilla is the queen of England, the wife.
She's no longer the queen consort. That's right.
No.
They dropped that title.
Oh, nice.
She's the.
Is she
wife.
saying?
No, the choir that introduced her, or like where she walked down for her coronation.
Yeah.
Sang like "All Hail Camilla" or something like that, or "God Save Camilla" or something like that.
Yeah.
But she wrote it apparently.
My buddy's mother-in-law, I guess they're in like this big family text chain thing. She texted and said, like, to the whole family, like, don't ask me to do anything on the coronation day because I need to watch it in English and Italian.
Italian?
Like, and my buddy is just like,
why is that to be watched in Italian?
ridiculous. That's a phenomenal question, man.
Why does it have to be in Italian? Is her English broken? Is that why? Or does she...
She speaks fine English. Yeah.
It's just her personal preference, so we really need to make a big
I want to know the reason.
Should
Are the
we-
commenters in Italy like really funny?
They might be. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what
Like,
it is.
here we go again.
If there's anybody to throw shade at the Brits, it's going to be the Italians. So,
Really?
Why?
Why?
Because why not?
If it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have England.
Yeah.
The Romans kind of went up there and were like, hey, check this place out. That's ours now.
They did
like
do
Britannia.
They did do that, except they could never conquer Scotland, or what was Scotland. They had to build a wall.
They're too wild. They were like, I'm messing up. I love you, Scotland.
Aye.
I do have Scottish ancestry and Irish ancestry, so.
Aye. Brilliant.
So, do you guys think that Marilyn Monroe could actually play the ukulele?
No.
No.
Because I was watching her very closely with her finger work.
Yeah.
I was like,
do, though, because I did look it up, and Tony Curtis does actually play the saxophone.
It's funny that you say that.
And Jack Lemmon, although he could play the piano, I don't know if he could, play
the bass.
I don't know. How hard is it to play the bass, though?
Very difficult.
Very hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it looked like he could, just from...
I think he was acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had his
He
fingers
looks like
over all the strings.
It looks like
for
he was
most of the
acting
time.
like how like you see the people back then being like... Boom, boom, boom,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
like a
spinning
jazz basses.
Yeah,
spinning
yeah.
the bass. But it's funny that you say that about the other guy,
Tony Curtis?
because while I'm watching it, like, there's like a certain way you have to like put your tongue on like the reed, and it looked like he was actually like doing it that way.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't just like putting the reed in his mouth. Like, he was actually like
Playing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, he might actually know how
Yeah.
to play saxophone. It was actually kind of impressive.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So I looked it up, and he does know, in fact, how to play the saxophone.
And I always wonder, do they during this time period, did they actually have to sing on set, or was it pre-recorded?
pre-recorded?
Because it sounded almost pre-recorded to me.
I don't actually know.
Because she was like bopping and jumping up and down, and part of me is like, whenever I try to do that, like in a car, and I'm like swaying my head back and forth, my voice goes all over the place. Versus like when you're sitting still and
Yeah.
you're like doing it.
It was probably.
So.
I would imagine it was pre-recorded. We can ask Joe.
Yeah, when he gets back.
See, this is what happens when Joe's gone. He can't give me the answers I need.
I mean, you could always look it up and see if Marilyn Monroe actually sang. Well, I guess if we don't have anything more to add, we could go into final thoughts about the movie. I love this movie. I love everything about it.
There's a fun fact on here that says, years after the film's release, a movie reviewer asked Tony Curtis why his Josephine was so much more feminine than Jack Lemmon's Daphne. Curtis explained he was so scared to be playing a woman or a man pretending to be one that his tightly wound body language could be read as demure and shy, traditionally feminine traits, whereas Lemmon, who was completely unbothered and, quote, ran out of his dressing room screaming like the Queen of the May, kept much more of his masculine body language. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I can see that.
Kansas didn't like this movie. They banned that film from being shown in Kansas when it came out because cross-dressing was too disturbing for Kansans.
Kansas.
It's
What a miserable state Kansas is.
well.
Marilyn Monroe required 47 takes to get the "it's me, sugar" correct, instead of saying either "sugar, it's me" or "it's sugar, me." After take 30, Billy Wilder had the line written on a blackboard. Another scene required Monroe to rummage through some drawers and say, "Where's the bourbon?" After 40 takes of her saying, "Where's the whiskey? Where's the bottle?" or "Where's the bonbon?" Wilder pasted the correct line in one of the drawers. After Monroe became confused about which drawer contained the line, Wilder had it pasted in every drawer.
Wow.
59 takes were required for this scene, and when she finally does say it, she has her back to the camera, leading some to wonder if Wilder finally gave up and had it dubbed.
Oh.
So
Wow.
I guess pre-recording is
Yeah.
a thing, so we just by that alone. Poor Marilyn.
Yeah.
Wow. She must have been a little difficult to work with, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. Also, like, what's the big deal? Like, if she says, "Where's the bottle?" Like, come on. Sometimes directors are a little too pretentious.
Yeah.
You know? I think the audience would understand. She's looking for liquor.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Final thoughts. I enjoyed the movie. I liked the movie. I thought it was funny.
Frank Sinatra was supposed to be in this movie.
That would have been awesome.
He was supposed to play Jerry, but he didn't show up for the lunch date.
I believe that.
It's better with Jack Lemmon in it anyway.
Yeah, no, this was perfect. I think also Jack Lemmon. Which one was Jack Lemmon? Jack Lemmon
It
was
was Daphne.
I thought he actually looked kind of cute
Yeah.
as a lady. Can we just say that? I thought he was. He had like the cute little bob, and then like the little makeup was done really well for
Yeah.
him. The other one still had masculine features.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tony had masculine features. Other one was super cute. And I was like, oh, he was so. He had the mannerisms.
And I think just his sheer confidence of being
he was so confident.
dressing as a woman really showed.
There is another scene I actually wanted to bring up real fast that I actually enjoyed is when they're at the beach and they cut it out of the ocean. She's like,
Your arms? Yeah.
not just the
Oh, the
arms, but
chest,
she's
that's-
like, you're flat chested. And he was like, and she was just like, you can fit anything. And I'm like, honestly, that's true.
Clothes hang so well on you. You're so flat chested.
He's so fit. So yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Good pick, Katie. This was enjoyable.
Thank you.
And now I can say I've seen a Marilyn Monroe movie.
Same. And I actually enjoyed it.
Cool.
So
Yay. We got that on camera.
Katie's so excited.
I am. I can't help it.
All right. And with that, I think we will say adieu
Yes.
to you, the audience.